Okie dokie, coming up on my show now, we have a singer-songwriter with a passion for country. I'm welcoming on my show next the guest, Phill, with two L's, JD on my show. We have him on the Zoom call now. Hello, Phill, how we doing?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, good. I know we're at polar opposites here because where you are seems like really dark. Is it nightfall in Australia?
It's about 11:30 p.m. Yeah, and it's raining here on the east coast of Australia, so not pretty much right by the ocean at the moment. Camping with a bunch of people that we're playing. I've got our New South Wales state titles tomorrow and the next few days for OzTag. So it's one of my little passions on the side. I coach sports and referee rugby league and this and that. So yeah, I'm away on that sort of adventure at the moment.
That's great. So yeah, situated New South Wales.
Yeah,
Right. And you've always been into music because I've read that you started off as a DJ.
I sure did. Many years ago, I used to sit up on the school stage and help out the local DJs, and then after school, I was basically playing music out of the back of a horse float, of all
Oh, I
things.
see. Did you when you were DJ, did you get to like travel around a bit?
Only mainly in New South Wales over here. Yeah, just basically, as I said, in the back of a horse float, you'd pull up and play on people's properties. They'd have parties, private functions out um, on remote properties, and some great nights over the years.
Yeah, creating memories. That's what it's about. And with I guess with playing music, like in back gardens, um, that comes hand in hand with barbecues, which nicely brings us onto your new single. It's called Backyard Barbie. And it's nice to hear the single's been well received and doing the rounds on the playlists. And this must be an exciting time for you. How do you feel it's being received?
Well, yeah, it's been pretty well, and it's it's got a fair coverage internationally as well as here in Australia, and it was quite a joy to actually record with Bill Chambers. I don't know if you know much about country music, but Bill's basically the godfather of country music here in Australia and father of Casey Chambers, is acclaimed in many rights herself. And yeah, I basically had this song that I co-wrote. Oh, it was about 17 years ago, and it's just been sitting there. And Bill sort of gave me confidence to do a few things in the studio and said, "Look, just for yourself and get your stuff out there, mate." So one
Yeah.
thing led to another, and
And who did you work with on this track?
Bill Chambers, his name was.
Oh
Yeah,
yes, you said, yeah. Great. And
yeah,
Backyard Barbie, would you say it's like a good ultimate sizzling summer song, a fun upbeat song, for the summer season, wherever you are in the world, when you're cooking the barbecue, hanging out with mates and everything
having a
it
few
brings.
drinks and having a dance and a sing along, and I think it pretty much happens all around the world. So yeah, it's
Yeah, it
got a bit of
does.
a universal appeal about it. Yeah.
That's good. And you also released a track called Shaking Breaking Legs. That's a catchy song title. What's the backstory behind that one?
Well, that's of all things, it's about myself because my grandfather always had the saying, like, go break a leg, like, and go and actually do something, have a go. And the first ever time that I performed an original song that I'd written myself in front of anyone, I was like scared to death that I was just shaking. And after doing that, I thought I just combined the two and put shaking, breaking legs. And it was all about, motivating myself to move forward with music and having a bit of belief there. That's what the song's
Yeah.
basically about. Me trying to motivate myself to move forward with music.
That makes sense. And I have to ask about the Dead Man's Boots. Do you find that a great crowd pleaser when you play live?
Um, yeah, that's actually one of the probably most popular songs, and that sort of come out of nowhere. I wrote that. My now mother-in-law offered me a pair of boots from the gentleman that would have been my father-in-law if he had have not passed. And I said, look, I can't accept them. I said, it's just something I can't do. I said, it wasn't about the size or anything. It was just like I thought, I just can't accept a dead man's boots. And after that, I walked down the back of their property and sat in their back shed and wrote that song in the matter of an hour or so, and just on the back of being offered his boots, which was so it's sort of sentiment and in the song it mentions getting the green light, and it was all about me asking him to have my wife's hand in marriage, and so it was and there's a lot in that song as well about you know don't be dragged down by the past. Keep moving on. Like, so, and
Yeah,
that's,
good,
don't go wearing an old pair of boots for the sake,
good,
you know,
good hidden message there behind the song. Then
yeah. So, and that's had quite a good response. Probably the most popular song that I've released as such as yet.
I
Um,
see.
and I did a fair bit of work with Bill in the studio a couple of months ago. So I've got about which I'm going to slowly release over the next couple of years. Basically, I've got enough material now. I've got about 10 songs pre-recorded, which I'll release the song, maybe
Yeah,
3 or 4 a year over the next couple of years. So I'm in the process of negotiating to actually do some making some film clips in coming months. So just taking things to a different level, and it's all good.
that's good to hear. A bit of ammunition then, like 10 songs and spread them out over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and having visuals for them, and
Hmm.
and
It's like
then
these things take time, don't they? Like, you got to promote it and then create, as you say, like music promos and then try and get the song heard.
yeah, time and money, and
Yeah,
given that I've got two teenage boys that are quite active, at times it's just running around a lot with them. So, which I enjoy myself. So I enjoy
that's
keeping active and keeping outdoors, and it's basically writing about experiences, life experiences. I guess that a lot of my songs are about.
yeah, sure. And so you got some singles in the pipeline. And do you enjoy doing that, like releasing single by single rather than like releasing an album, then a single, then a single,
Well,
then an album?
I think it makes a lot more sense in today's digital world because once it's out there, it's out there. But this, you can sort of generate a bit of excitement knowing that you're going to release a song every sort of 3 to 4 months. Sort of keeps the audience engaged, and well, that's my theory anyway.
Yeah. It's a strange one, isn't it? Because, back in the day, albums were popular, then streaming come along. And I feel like people these days, their attention span aren't so good as they used to be. Hence, like having the time to listen to a full album. Maybe people do like that single after single, and then they can pick and choose.
Yeah, well, given what I've done with Bill, there's not a lot of the tracks that I pre-recorded don't necessarily fall within any given genre. So it's not, if I was to release an album, it wouldn't be category. I don't know where it actually fall in regards to a genre because every song is so different. I've got it like from one song to an upbeat rock song to a blues song to a country song. So I've got that sort of um, you know that
Mm,
aspect to think about as well. So yeah,
yeah.
that falls back on actually releasing things as singles and saying, well, you know, this is me from a different perspective, as
Yeah.
well.
Many styles then you
You're not
cater
you're
for.
not so much pigeonholed into anything then,
Yeah.
and you got more flexibility on where you want to take things, and then I can sort of say, well, you know, I've had more success in the blues area than country or whatever, and and gives you
Yeah. I mentioned like streaming platforms, where people can like listen to music so accessibly these days. What are your personal thoughts on like say the big names out there? Do you think in the long run it's a good thing?
Um, well, it's nowhere, well, it's definitely nowhere near it used to be. Like with things, and yeah, I think there's a bit. So it's a bit unfair at times with
Mm.
some of them major artists, but it all comes down to promotions and and building a network, and that's why I'm in that rush to release everything that I've done. I'm just slowly building and building and building, and and it, and then you connect with someone who connects you to another person, and then your network continues to grow, and it's um, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that's my theory anyway.
Yeah, it's all
Um,
about building the foundations, isn't it? And
yeah.
what have been like one of your career highlights so far? When you look back fondly, on what you've done.
Well, there's a few things. A few of my songs, and even some that I've co-written, have been like finalists in like Australasian songwriters awards and this and that. But having a chance to perform on various public stages up at the Tamworth Country Music Festival, and you know, and it, even it all depends. Different aspects, like to what could mean for anyone. Like I sung at my grandfather's funeral. That meant a lot. Like, having it's there's many different opportunities that music can give you. So it's just a matter of grasping them, and everything is different. So yeah, there's a lot of highlights. Oh, I had last year, 2024, was a great time. The local region selected me, and I got to perform a concert in the park on Australia Day. So that was great. So, and opened up a whole new audience of people locally that didn't even know that I sung. It was
And
that was really good.
as a former DJ, what decades of music have been the most kind of like influential for you?
Oh, well, I was born in the mid 70s, and I'd have to say my teenage years, the late 80s, early 90s. That's what I listened to a lot. Um, and and even so, I must have learned a lot in my mother's womb, because I like a lot of the old school stuff from the 70s and that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
can't go wrong with 70s, 80s, 90s.
So
Great. And
yes.
I better ask her, where's best for people to follow you on social media, emailing lists and streaming platforms? When I introduce you on the show, I says like Phill JD with the L. Does make you stand out.
Yeah, Phill JD with double L, PHI double L JD. Pretty much, if you Google that, there's a few things that come on: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And a few of them different platforms that I'm still learning. My kids teach me stuff, so um, yeah, it's a continuing learning curve. I
Yeah.
guess with everything, everything's all trial and error, and I'm always open to learning. And yeah.
They do say here in Britain every day is a school day, even for the people who who are up there established.
Well, that's it. And I think if you're ignorant if you're pretending that you know everything.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be open and wanting to learn ongoing. And Bill told me that when I was in the studio with him. He said, mate, look, I can't predict how any of this stuff will go. You just have to get it out there, and just it is what it is.
Yeah. Sure.
No beating around the bush sort of thing.
Yeah. And I think that's everything I wanted to ask you for today. I've got time just to preview this record from a listener. If that's okay, would you just like to introduce the record on?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, go for
Um,
it.
Hi guys, hi listeners. Thanks very much for having me on here today. This is my latest single, Backyard Barbie. All the best, guys.
Thanks for joining me on my show today, Phill JD. All the best to you as well.
Cheers, guys.